Hi Lootbags. Today we're talking about tricks and traps. They're environmental weapons that you can use in World vs. World to help defend structures, prevent enemies from having supplies, and improve things such as your scouting abilities. Before we jump into it, make sure to join our Discord. It's a great place to learn about World vs. World and become part of the community. There is a link in the description. In order to use tricks and traps, you first have to acquire them. There are two ways you can go about getting tricks and traps. One is through the skirmish reward track, and the other one is buying them directly from a vendor. As you're going through your skirmish reward track every week, you'll get a container called Skirmish Chest. Inside this you can buy the item Tricks and Traps Capsule, which will give you a random trick or trap for each one. I personally think there are better things to get out of your skirmish chest, so let's look at the other option, buying the tricks and traps directly from a vendor. At the spawn of each World v World map, you will find a tricks and traps vendor. This vendor will sell you any of the tricks and traps, all for the same price of 15 badges of honor, 4 silver, and 96 copper. Besides buying them from the tricks and traps vendor, you can also buy them from the Permanent Portable Provisioner, which is a vendor item made specifically for World v World. To use a trick or a trap, you can double-click the trick or trap in your inventory. This will change your skills into the trick or traps skills. Do note that traps cost 5 supplies to use and tricks cost 10 supplies to use. Now let's get an overview of the 4 tricks and traps that are in the game. Tricks are different from traps in that they're not placed, but rather used actively when you want to use them. By being an active AoE skill, you can throw where you please. The first trick is the Siege Disabler. It does exactly what the name suggests. It disables siege. When thrown, it'll have an AoE in which any siege will be disabled for 35 seconds. Golems that are manned will only be disabled for 20 seconds though. It's also important to note that the skill is a projectile and can therefore be reflected or blocked, so time it properly. The other trick is the Target Painter, which will mark enemies within its AoE when thrown. It marks up to a total of 50 enemy players for 30 seconds. The marking effect is the same as if it was enemies being close to a sentry or a structure with the Watchtower improvement. Traps are skilled that will be placed on the ground in a thick line, similar how to traps on Ranger and Dragon Hunters are placed. A trick or trap will affect up to 20 enemies in a range of 1200. They both take 4 seconds to place, so make sure the enemies are not too close when placing them. And it's important to note that you can only place one trap at a time. If you place another, it will remove the previous one. The trap will only last 1 hour or until you leave the map. The first trap is the Target Painter trap. It will mark enemies similar to a sentry, the Watchtower improvement, and the Target Painter trick. Any enemy that runs over this trap will trigger the trap and be marked. This can be used as a temporary solution for places where you might want to know about enemy positions without being near to a tower of yours that have the Watchtower improvement. The other trap is probably the most used of the two. It is the supply removal trap, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It removes 5 supplies from each enemy that it traps. Again, that is up to 20 enemy players in a range of 1200 when it gets triggered. And that was it. That is tricks and traps. They're quite simple, but can be used in a lot of small clever ways, like placing a supply trap on an enemy supply depot. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like and click the subscribe button, and if you didn't, click that dislike button. As always, feel free to drop by over on Twitch TV/Reddish, where I stream Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, if you are interested in becoming part of our community and learning more about World vs. World.